Arsene, yesterday there was an issue over Bakary Sagna. You weren't sure whether he'd be fit for the weekend or not. Could you give us the latest on that?
Will not be fit.
He has a hamstring injury and will be out for the weekend and for basically 3 weeks.
So presumably Carl Jenkinson will be the cover there.
Yeah.
Turning to the game, it's another away game, and records have been flying around about away victories. This would be 8 in the Premier League, which would be your Premier League record. Just explain again, I suppose, your strength away, why it's going on like this.
Well, basically because we don't look too much at the fact is it away or at home. You know, we play with the same desire and the same attitude. And as well because we have a level of confidence that is there. But West Brom represents as well a good test for us because they had, on the back of an outstanding result at Manchester United, their confidence level is certainly high as well. So it will be a very interesting test.
And is it very different from the Capital One tie a couple of weeks ago, which of course you won?
Well, they had quite a strong side out, and many of the regular players played, but they have a big squad. I noticed when I looked at their team who plays at Manchester United that they have a massive squad of experienced players, so it's very difficult to predict who will play against us.
And just finally for me, Thomas Rosick's 33 today. He came back in to the side in midweek. Just tell us about his enduring quality. I know he's a player you particularly like.
Well, first of all, I believe he's a real Arsenal man because he's here for a long time. He takes completely, I think he is really the football player who represents the way we want to play football, because he's a team player who has pace, has a quick brain, understands the game very well, and I always like to have him in the team because of all these qualities.
Arsene, 3 weeks for Bakary Sagna. How big a blow is that given how he's been playing?
It's always a blow because he's a very complete defender. He can defend well, he's good in the air, can attack well as well, and he's a winner type. So of course for us it's a handicap, but Jenkinson had a good start of the season as well, and he's growing as well as a player, and I'm sure he will do very well.
Mesut Ozil's impact has been well documented, but are you surprised at how quickly he's settled in?
Yes, but you never know how much time that takes. You know, we can never predict. But I thought when I saw him behave in training that it could be fairly quick, and he has good physical qualities, and I think that helps him. And
a week ago, you were saying about your contract, you'd like to stay here forever if possible. Is there any development on that?
No. That's we are at the start of the season, and I don't think there's any need to come back on that.
And there's no time scale, there's no movement at all?
No.
Can I ask you about some pictures in the newspaper today? Jack Wilshere appearing to be smoking out in the early hours of Thursday morning, I think. Can I just get your take on that? Is that disappointing to see?
Well, I disagree completely with that behaviour.
Is it something that's banned within the club, smoke?
I don't know really what happened. I will need to have a chat with him about that. You know, there's two things. First of all, when you're a football player, you're an example, and as well, you don't do what damages your health. The fact that you can damage your health at home, you can smoke at home and you can drink at home, and nobody sees it. But when you go out socially, you as well damage your reputation as an example.
Have you had a chance to speak to him yet?
No.
What might you say to him?
I will leave that between him and me.
Arsene, is that a finable offence though, or is that just a chat with Wiltshire?
I don't know really what happened, so for me it's very difficult to come out on that. It's a question I face here that I didn't know about, you know.
Could I ask you about Qatar 2022? It looks increasingly likely now that the games are going to be played in the winter. How's English football going to cope with that, do you think? How's Arsenal going to cope with that?
Arsenal will do what English football decides, of course. We will adapt to the behavior of English football. To me, it looks reasonable to play in winter because the only thing that matters in there is the safety of people who go there and attend, the fans. The players can cope with the heat, they are prepared, and they will be in great conditions, but the fans, I'm not so sure. But I leave that file to the FIFA. They have decided first, they have to cope with it now. How will English football adapt? It's quite simple. The World Cup will have to be, if it's played in winter, you cannot sacrifice the Christmas period here. That means that the World Cup, who initially is planned to be played on the 20th of January onwards, would have to be pushed back because you need to release your players 4 weeks before the competition starts. If you want to keep the Christmas period alive, that has to then happen from the after the 1st of January, 4 weeks later. That means the World Cup could start end of January earliest. Then how will you adapt? Because you will have to change, I think, 6 fixtures. Where do you put them? Will you shorten the break the summer before and the summer after? I don't know how that can be managed.
You're not one of these people then, like, that agrees with the chairman of the Football League, Greg Clark, that the whole thing should be re-voted upon?
No, because unless there are some irregularities proven, then yes. But if there's nothing irregular has happened, why should you re-vote? Then you can ask every time that people are not happy with what comes out that to re-vote again. I think you have to respect the vote and adapt to the situation. The only thing that looks to me a bit surprising is they have not considered that at the moment of the vote.
What question about West Brom? Had a very good result against Manchester United last week. They'll be on a high for the game with you.
Yeah, of course. That's why I think the game will be very interesting, and it's a massive game for us, and it's an exciting game as well, because both teams have full confidence and have quality.
Thank you. Awesome. Johan Cruyff used to smoke 20 a day, and he'd go out and turn in magnificent performances, but are things different? Are things different? Are things different now?
No, it is. Yes, of course, things are different because in England, especially, you don't need to convince me, because I must tell you, I travelled as a football player on coaches after games in France where you didn't see each other. Was so much smoke on the coach, you know. everybody smoked. But times have changed, and the health worry, the example, the role models from the football players' request has changed as well. And I must say as well, English society is very sensitive to smoking, much more than France, much more than southern countries. And so it's a bit more shocking here than it is somewhere else.
I'll show those to my wife. I'm trying to get her quick. Generally, with Jack, we spoke to him after the match, and he was saying, you know, with all this competition for places, he sees it as something he can thrive on. But I mean, obviously, with Jack, there's maybe a little bit more focus because of his role with England. And yesterday we spoke to Roy Hodgson, and maybe there's some debate about where he fits into the England and the Arsenal side.
He's a very important player here. You know, we build our all my plans for the future at the club have always been built with Jack and around Jack, and we had some setbacks with him a lot, and but he's a very important player in my squad.
With the unfortunate, scandalous scenes really with the Napoli fans before the match on Holloway Road, if things had been reversed, then that had been, say, Arsenal turning over a cafe in Naples, running around with smashing people on heads with belts. How do you think UEFA would have reacted to that, and should there have been a stronger stance?
I don't know. First of all, I don't exactly know what happened with the Napoli fans, but any violence has to be, of course, not accepted, and I think UEFA will take some decisions about that.
Austin, have you been surprised with how the teams that finished above you last season, Chelsea, United and City, have struggled a little bit?
Your word is a bit strong. Maybe United had not the expected start. Chelsea are not far, and we are at the start of the season. We played 6 games, with 32 games to go, and Chelsea had quite a tough schedule as well. They played Man United away, they played Tottenham away, so you have to put that into perspective a little bit.
You're on such a fine run, though, particularly away from home. I know it's too early to talk about the title, but it's important to maintain and even extend that advantage if you can.
First, it's important to maintain a consistent run, to continue to develop as a team, because if you look at the broader picture, we have quite a good consistent run since March, and but it's important, of course, that we continue to develop. I believe we can do better. There's more to come from us, but we have that will depend now on how much we want it and how hungry we are to continue to improve.